A starving orphan shares his last meal with a dying German shepherd in a rain-soaked alley, not realizing the dog isn't just another stray. He's a stolen protection dog worth thousands, and his original owner will stop at nothing to get him back. But when the boy faces losing the only friend he's ever known, the dog makes a choice that changes all their lives forever. Liam's fingers trembled against the handlebars as icy rainwater trickled down his neck. The neon sign of Benny's Burgers flickered ahead, its glow distorted through the downpour. He'd been delivering orders since 4 p.m., and now at nearly midnight his legs burned with exhaustion. "Order for Patel," he called, shaking water from his hair as he entered the steamy kitchen. The smell of grease made his empty stomach clench. Mr. Carter barely glanced up from the register, shoving a grease-stained bag across the counter. "3 late deliveries this week, Parker. 1 more and you're done." Liam nodded, biting back the truth that Mrs. Henderson's elevator had broken again, that the college kids never tipped. The bus stop bench creaked under his weight as he unwrapped the cold cheeseburger, his last meal until tomorrow's school lunch program. Then, a sound like crumpling paper, but wetter. Liam turned toward the alley. Between overflowing dumpsters, 2 amber eyes reflected the streetlight. Not a cat's slitted gaze, but round, desperate. The whimper came again, more a shudder of breath than sound. He should leave. Sister Margaret would lock the orphanage doors at 12:30 sharp. But the eyes held him, intelligent, terrified. Liam broke the burger in half, his stomach roaring in protest as he stepped into the alley's darkness. The German shepherd flinched when his shadow fell over it. Up close, the damage was worse. Patches of missing fur revealed angry skin, its left ear nicked like someone had taken a knife to it. "Easy, boy," Liam whispered, crouching slowly. He extended the food, heart hammering when yellowed teeth flashed. But the dog only sniffed, then inhaled the burger in one gulp. Rain dripped from Liam's nose onto the dog's forehead as he offered the second half. This time, a rough tongue brushed his fingers. Something warm unfolded in Liam's chest, unfamiliar and terrifying. He checked his cracked watch, 12:28. The orphanage would lock him out. The dog trembled against his knee. Liam tore his last fry in half. 3 days later, Liam returned to the alley with stolen kitchen scraps in his backpack. The dog wasn't there. Kneeling, he spotted drag marks in the grime leading behind the dumpster. His breath hitched at the blood smear on the brick wall. Teenage laughter echoed from the next street over. The same guys who'd kicked at strays last week. "Hey, you little thieves!" Liam's shout surprised even himself. The laughter stopped. He grabbed a rusted pipe, hands shaking. Then, a weak bark. Behind a stack of pallets, the shepherd lay panting, one paw twisted at an unnatural angle. It whined when seeing Liam, tail thumping weakly in the puddle beneath it. Fresh bruises mottled its ribs. Liam's vision blurred. He shrugged off his hoodie, wincing as cold rain immediately soaked through his t-shirt. "I got you," he murmured, wrapping the fabric around the dog's middle. The animal yelped when lifted, but didn't bite. Its heartbeat thudded against Liam's chest like a dying bird. The vet clinic, 6 blocks away, had a no strays policy, but Nurse Amy sometimes looked the other way. Halfway there, the dog stirred. Liam nearly dropped it when a warm tongue licked his chin. He choked out a laugh. Yeah, just don't die, okay?" The clinic's back light was on. Liam kicked the door until Amy appeared, her scowl melting when she saw the bundle in his arms. Again, Liam? Sister Margaret's going to... Please. His voice broke. The dog chose that moment to cough, specks of blood dotting Liam's collar. Amy sighed, holding the door open. Shadow's cast gleamed white against his black fur. Liam had named him while waiting at the clinic, for how he'd appeared that first night, and for how he'd limped after Liam ever since. "You can't keep him," Sister Margaret said for the 10th time, blocking the orphanage doorway. Shadow pressed against Liam's leg, ears flat. "That beast isn't... He's trained," Liam blurted. Shadow sat instantly at his subtle hand signal. "See? Someone loved him once." The nun's eyes softened briefly before hardening. "Be that as it may, the board..." A crash echoed from the dining hall. Shadow was moving before Liam could react, streaking past Sister Margaret toward the commotion. 12-year-old Marco stood frozen, orange juice pooling around shattered glass at his feet. The kitchen supervisor loomed over him, wooden spoon raised. Shadow inserted himself between them with a growl that vibrated to find the entire hall silent. Shadow didn't attack, didn't even bare teeth, just stood rigid, eyes locked on the supervisor, until the man lowered his arm. Later, in the drafty attic where Liam hid Shadow, he buried his face in the dog's fur. "You can't do that," he whispered, but his arms tightened around the warm body. Shadow licked the tear from his cheek. The eviction notice came on, a Thursday. Liam stared at Sister Margaret's desk, at the paperwork stamped, "Effective immediately." "Mrs. Callahan's poodle needed 12 stitches, the nun said tiredly. The board voted. Liam's throat closed. Shadow had only nipped the yapping dog after it cornered Marco in the bathroom. "We'll sleep in the park then." "Don't be foolish. There's a group home in..." "No." Groups' homes meant separation from Shadow. Liam had seen what happened to dogs in shelters. That night he packed his meager belongings, 2 shirts, a photo of parents he barely remembered, and the $37 hidden under his mattress. Shadow watched from the bed, his cast clicking against the springs. The bridge by the river was drier than expected. Liam arranged their cardboard shelter while Shadow stood guard, ears pivoting at every nighttime sound. At dawn, Liam woke to an empty space beside him. Panic spiked until he spotted Shadow upstream, drinking carefully from the river's edge. The dog met his gaze, then suddenly stiffened. A man in a tailored overcoat stood 20 feet away, briefcase dangling forgotten at his side. "Ranger," he whispered. Shadow didn't bark, didn't wag, just positioned himself between Liam and the stranger, a low rumble building in his chest. The man's eyes flicked to Liam's ragged clothes, to their makeshift camp. When he spoke again, his voice cracked. "What have they done to you, boy?" Liam's fingers curled into Shadow's fur as the luxury car purred through iron gates. The Hartwell estate sprawled before them, manicured hedges, a fountain glinting under morning sun, and a house so large it made Liam's orphanage dorm look like a closet. "Home," Daniel murmured, but Shadow didn't wag his tail. The dog sat rigid against Liam's thigh, nostrils flaring at the unfamiliar scents. The front door swung open. A woman in a crisp uniform gasped. "Mr. Hartwell, is that..." "Ranger," Daniel confirmed. His voice thickened. "Or part of him, anyway." Liam flinched when the housekeeper reached for Shadow. The dog ducked behind Liam's legs, a whine building in his throat. Daniel's smile faltered. "Perhaps introductions later," he said quickly, ushering them inside. The foyer smelled of lemon polish and something floral. Liam's wet sneakers squeaked on marble floors as Shadow pressed against him, ears flat. A grandfather clock ticked ominously. This way. Daniel led them down a hall lined with framed photos. Daniel shaking hands with politicians. Daniel on yachts. Daniel with a sleek German shepherd puppy. Liam's stomach twisted. That happy dog didn't look anything like the scarred Shadow beside him. The kitchen was all stainless steel and hanging copper pans. A plate of bacon sat abandoned on the island. Shadow's nose twitched, but he didn't move from Liam's side. Daniel cleared his throat. "I thought you might be hungry." He pushed the plate forward. Liam's mouth watered, but he broke a piece in half first. "Here, boy." Shadow took it gently, his eyes never leaving Daniel's face. The housekeeper sniffed. "He remembers his training. Proper dogs don't beg." A growl rumbled in Shadow's chest. Liam touched his head. "He's not begging. We share." Silence stretched. Daniel studied them. Liam's patched jeans, Shadow's healed wounds, the way the boy's hand never left the dog's scruff. Finally, he exhaled. "Let's start over. Liam, this is Mrs. Cho. She'll show you to your room." A pause. "Both of you." The guest room had a four-poster bed, bigger than Liam's old orphanage cot. He hovered in the doorway while Shadow investigated every corner, sniffing the plush rug, the leather armchair, the ensuite bathroom. "You like it?" Liam whispered. Shadow circled twice on the rug, then flopped down with a sigh. His tail gave one half-hearted thump. Liam sat cross-legged beside him, running fingers through familiar fur. "Me neither." A knock. Daniel entered with a stack of towels. "There's a shower if you—" He froze. Liam followed his gaze. Shadow had rolled onto his back, paws in the air, letting Liam scratch his belly. A first. Daniel's eyes glistened. "He used to. Ranger, always." The man swallowed hard. That was his spot, right under his collar. Liam's fingers found the scar tissue there. Shadow's tongue lolled in bliss. Daniel set the towels down carefully. "Dinner's at 7. You'll both be there." Alone, Liam nodded, his face in Shadow's neck. The dog smelled like river water and old wounds, not lemon polish or wealth. Liam's whisper trembled. "Whatever happens, we stay together. Promise?" Shadow licked his cheek. Outside, the grandfather clock chimed. Somewhere in the house, a phone rang. A new life waited. But in that moment, curled together on a rug too soft to be real, they were just two strays keeping the world at bay, one heartbeat at a time.